Hello and welcome to Shouting Over the News. I'm your occasionally surrogate host, Dylan. We don't know where Mark is, but he's certainly not here. I'm joined by...
Sure. Hello.
Nice. And...
Hello, I'm Jack. How's it going, everyone?
See, sure, that's how you do it. Jack nailed it. Good job, Jack.
God,
Yes.
We're going to cover some of the news that's happened this week, but, I mean, not all of it, because otherwise we'll end up making another hour-and-a-half long podcast like last time. I've written down hashtag hot takes, so I'm going to say it, but I didn't know how to get it in there cleanly, so that's what you get. We've discussed before we started recording the news this week, because, you know, we're hoping that makes for a cleaner, crisper show, just like my cleaner, crisper audio. Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Fucking.
Oh, that's
We are
professional,
organised
that
as
was.
fuck.
I hope it actually sounds better. Let's just go with the order we wrote it down, I guess. I mean...
Yeah, sure.
Because all I could remember from the week was accessible controllers.
Yes.
And I managed to blank on absolutely everything else. Even though a fair amount, I think, has happened, right? We've had a lot. But these are accessible controllers, so it leaked, at the beginning of the week, I think?
Yeah, it was certainly towards, what was it, like Monday, Tuesday?
Yeah, it was after it was after we recorded the show, so maybe before the show came out.
Oh, that's
and-
time fuckery.
What was it? It was this, it's this little... Looks a bit like some turntables.
Yeah,
But-
it certainly looks a bit weird. Like, Xbox released, or there was a leaked image from an Xbox accessible controller with two seemingly giant buttons. And
Yeah,
like,
just
like
two
a
big buttons,
D-pad
isn't it? Yeah.
And like the usual stuff, like menu buttons and everything on there. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really know what to make of it. I don't know.
So what's on it is I don't know if you guys have read up about it or anything, but so yeah, it's those two big buttons, and a D-pad, the start and stop menu, and then I think it was a menu for changing changing profiles. So you can with the Xbox you can basically completely custom map your buttons, because of what you get with the Elite controller, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it takes advantage of that, and you can essentially create a custom controller for each game from the sounds of it. So you can switch the layout between games. And it's just like a little box with these two buttons on, and then along the back there's a bunch of ports. And you can just plug in other controllers, right? From what I've seen, you can essentially construct a controller for however you need to play the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can plug in a joystick. If that's how you are able to control it, you can make and then put them anywhere so maybe if you need a button like next to your face and then one button next to your hand, you can do that, which I think is actually really great. That's because you always see these stories of I can't remember the name, which is shitty of me, but there's a few guys online who make like custom controllers for disabled people.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're a big business or anything. They just do it because they're nice guys. And that's always well and good, but I mean, it's probably quite expensive and or difficult. They can't make loads. But now with Xbox releasing sort of their own easily accessible version of this accessible controller, that's quite nice. It was quite a nice thing to see, I thought. I don't know what... I imagine most people think that. Who's going to be annoyed by accessible controllers, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely think it's a step in the right direction in terms of the whole video gaming community in itself. You know, when we talk about video gaming, we talk about trying to bring people together, and video games should really be accessible to all. And I think that by introducing this, it certainly does, you know, give the opportunity for people who perhaps weren't able to play video games comfortably before. It certainly gives them a better opportunity to get involved. And yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more different companies follow suit. If it's a success and people are enjoying it and it allows more people to get involved, I would not be surprised if we see more people following suit in terms of trying to give access to all.
Yeah, I think it would be a really great thing to see. And I think it's... you've got issues there with... So it's obviously easier for Xbox because they've already got the systems in place. But I don't think... I'm not sure about PlayStation, to be fair. But I don't think they have a particularly robust sort of button mapper, right?
No, not as far as I know. There isn't customizable buttons. But I don't think it'll be hard to implement something like that, though. It should be a standard. Like, you should, as a game console manufacturer, you should officially be supporting things like that, right?
You'd think, but I mean, sometimes you end up with weird things where not intentionally or anything, but they've just managed to make it so it's actually quite hard to change.
Yeah.
So you never know.
The PS4 controller is quite programmable on the PC if you get the right software, but
Yeah.
I don't know how it works on the PlayStation itself.
Well, hopefully. I mean, I agree with you, Jack. I think that would be a really nice thing to see from other companies, just because. But obviously, you've always got to have this first step. You've got to have one group. Like, it's the equivalent of, this is a stupid analogy. It's like you have PUBG as your first step into battle royales, and now you've got Fortnite and Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Boy.
Segue. Nice segue, mate. That was insane.
Black Ops 4 is I ruined the segue by being so excited about it. Black Ops 4 we knew was coming out, and we've spoken about this on one of the previous episodes.
Yes.
There was these rumors about not having a campaign, right? And that's been confirmed now, right? There's no campaign, right?
Yes. So last Thursday, they had their global reveal event, which is about an hour long. Somewhere, I think it was in LA. I can't quite remember where they were holding it. But yeah, it was just a room full of all of the upmarket fucking video game reviewers and all of the websites and everyone like that.
So
I don't know.
bitter. Those upmarket video game reviewers.
But yeah, so they had the reveal event, and they went into a lot more detail about what the game is actually going to be. They confirmed that it's. I said they said. They spent the whole time talking about the multiplayer, the zombies, and the new battle royale mode that they're going to be coming up with on the game. And then right at the end, they slipped it in and it was like, "Yeah, we're not getting any single player in this." And then they just sort of just said that one sentence and moved on a bit, and then it was like the end of the conference. So so it's not going to have single player. They are talking a lot about trying to weave a lot more story-driven content into the into the zombies mode, especially.
So that's what I'd seen, was that and you can kind of tell from all of the advertising and stuff. There's always been a bit of story to the zombie stuff, right? They've always tried to have, something. But there's they released sort of, I think it was 3 main trailers maybe, for zombies with this.
Yeah,
and they had The Voyage of Despair, which was this group on the Titanic, and like a Colosseum one.
Yeah, something weird like that.
Oh.
And so they're the same group of people, and there's this same artifact that causes zombies. So it creates like a bubble, and then everything outside of the bubble in a certain radius is turned into a zombie.
Mm.
So
Right.
there's clearly something going on there. They're clearly trying to create a backstory, a history, I guess.
Are they trying to do it like the way Overwatch has been doing it, with just cinematics for their characters?
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, they were opening cinematics for like the level. I feel like they felt like it felt they were like, here's the zombies, now start fighting them, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
But the weird thing I thought, so the Voyage of Despair looked like one of their typical zombie in a themed area things, and it turns out it's the Titanic or something. They reveal at the end. Spoilers for the trailer. But the Gladiators one I thought was really weird, and I was thinking this during it. You don't have guns, right? Because you're in a Colosseum. And they show the main characters, or air quotes main characters, whatever they are, fighting zombies with, one of them has an axe, one of them has 2 swords, one of them has a shield and a mace, and one of them has daggers or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's a lady, so I assume they gave her daggers, because that's just how video games work.
Yeah, it certainly did look a bit weird. I mean, taking that twist on zombies, and I guess you're completely right. Going back to that sort of ancient Colosseum mode and having guns, I guess, would be a bit bizarre. But to just completely go, look, you know what, we're just going to give you what looks to be like these like gladiator armor, and you get all of the choices of weapons that they would have had. Sounds cool.
But even then, it looks like it doesn't even necessarily look like you're going to have much choices to your weapons, because they've focused on this, and they focused on it a lot in the multiplayer trailer as well. They focused on this sort of more hero-based thing. So it's I've seen it compared a lot to Rainbow Six Siege, and when I was watching it, I was thinking maybe like an Overwatch kind of thing. You've got characters, right? You've got a guy with a barricade. You've got your Scottish engineer character. There's like the mohawked brute character. A lady with a really powerful pistol.
Yeah.
There's it looked to me like, I mean, I might be wrong, you might be right in saying you get to just pick cool gladiator weapons, but it felt like they had made these characters that have their specific sort of fighting styles, which would be interesting but also like annoying, because then someone's always going to end up with the old dude with a shield, right? But it feels like, how are they going to do that? Are they equipped to make a melee combat game? Is it just going to be For Honor and Call of Duty?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I certainly feel so. In the past, especially with the multiplayer stuff, in the past they have released all of like the melee weapon, or they have been releasing like different melee weapons as like downloadable content that you could then go on and get the microtransactions, the loot boxes, and all of that stuff, and you could get the weapons in the loot boxes. But I don't know. I certainly feel so. Yeah, like you're saying, talking about Overwatch, it's going to be exclusive to Battle.net.
On PC.
On the PC.
You did this in our chat as well. You're going to confuse everyone, Jack.
Yeah, it's going to be exclusive on PC on Battle.net, which is Blizzard's thing, because of course Treyarch helped them out in developing some of the first-person shooting aspects and the way that the guns react to recoil and stuff like that in Overwatch. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's good for Blizzard. I think it's an absolute steal, considering what they've done with Destiny 2.
Yeah, I think they're establishing Battle.net in a pretty extensive way by giving it some big games, I mean, which is a good thing, but do most people who play Call of Duty play it on PC?
Certainly not, right?
It's not a particularly big PC game, from what I understand.
No, I mean, they ostensibly have a deal with PlayStation and Sony to hold all of their esports events and everything on the PlayStation 4, and of course the PS4 gets access to all of like the DLCs and everything a month before any other platform at the moment anyway. What I do like, and what they were saying in the build up to basically coming out and saying, yeah, this is going to be exclusive on Battle.net on PC, is we're going to be trying to run this at 4K uncapped frames, and we're going to try and optimize it as much as we can for PC, which I think is good, because I mean, in terms of, like you say, Call of Duty never really has been a PC player's game, but in terms of them trying to market it and trying to get more PC players involved, I think that's good.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice that they're focusing on it, but giving it those sort of things. And it's all. Sorry, you were going to say something, sure?
No, I was just going to say it's a step in the right direction, really.
Yeah,
Call of Duty started on PC, right? So they should really try to make a better PC version. Although all the Call of Duties have never been bad on the PC, they run well and they look great. So it's yeah.
And for a Twitch shooter, obviously they've sort of established Twitch shooters, I think, on console, and they've made them a playable thing. Halo did they did a lot for bringing first-person shooters to consoles in a meaningful way, but I think Call of Duty really, I don't know, widely popularized it, right? But Twitch shooters still feel like they should be a thing on PC, not consoles, because as we've been saying about like playing Doom and stuff, fast-paced shooting on the PC is on the console is really fucking annoying. So I mean, it feels like it could be more of an esport on PC, because you're relying less on like auto aim and stuff like that, right? An aim assist. Yeah,
it's a lot. It's easier to just move your mouse. It's just more intuitive.
Yeah. Definitely. Although I always do, as easier as it is, I always do feel it's more fun to play with a controller. Not necessarily certain games, but I feel like I can get into a game more on a controller than I can on a keyboard and mouse.
Ah, okay.
Because I don't know, it feels like I guess I always work with a keyboard and mouse, right? So if I'm playing a game with a keyboard and mouse, it's like, oh well, this is just how I live my life.
Yeah.
Whereas at least a controller, it sort of gives you. It's not necessarily even a gameplay thing. It's just sort of a psychological, different kind of setting idea, right?
But, you're more used to the controller because you mainly game on consoles as well, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly. It's easier just to get lost in that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, one thing that of note about the multiplayer reveal and some of the gameplay that they had in that trailer, it seemed weird because I think that this is the first Call of Duty multiplayer where each character, each per player in the game is going to have health bars above their head.
I noticed that too. That's kind of interesting.
And what they were saying is you are very so they allow you to basically heal yourself in the game as well.
Oh wow, really?
So you can keep an eye on, like, I guess it's just like another thing to keep an eye on, but if you're getting shot a bit and then you can just sort of retreat and then heal yourself and then go back into it, and I certainly feel like that aspect of it is going to make things a lot more interesting tactically in terms of the esports scene. I feel
like that must be for one specific reason.
Yeah.
And that's almost definitely because they've introduced Battle Royale, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Fortnite has that. You've got to heal yourself and stuff like that. Which is, I think everyone was expecting this. Battle Royale is obviously the next big thing. And what I was saying about PUBG being a proof of concept and Fortnite sort of being the big deal. Like, that's what everybody... You see so many news articles about how big Fortnite is. And it's kind of like, well, everyone's just forgotten about PlayerUnknown, right?
It's a bit sad.
It's still big, but you see Fortnite everywhere now. I've seen so many news articles recently about, like, I think it was a baseball player in America had to stop playing because he got carpal tunnel from playing Fortnite too much.
No way.
What?
But I mean, I guess it is sort of riding the wave of Avengers Infinity War, because they added that Thanos update as well, and so everyone's been like playing that and just been like, oh my god, this is awesome. Yeah, I mean, everyone who goes up against Thanos absolutely despises it.
Well, no, because what I've seen is that Thanos isn't even that hard in it. So the complaints I've seen have been that Thanos isn't that difficult, so it's kind of just like, why have they introduced... It's just annoying more than anything.
I feel
obviously it's a different game mode, right? So you don't have to play it. But...
Yeah, I also feel like again, with something like that, when you've got Thanos on your game, there is going to be that fine line between making him way too powerful and underpowering him. Because obviously, you know, for what Thanos is, it's going to be like, yeah, this dude's got to be the best, right? But and then at the same time, you don't want people coming up against him and just being like, well, what the fuck? I can't kill this guy. But yeah, like you say, you don't want him to be too easy, because then it's like, what's the point? But,
so what I've seen is people have suggested they should do 99 versus 1. And make him too overpowered, and make it so that you can't have like one or two people take him down, and you need to work together. And I think that would be dope. That would be so, like, it would be a bit difficult to do, admittedly, but it would be sick, wouldn't it?
That does sound like that would probably be the one thing that would make me want to play Fortnite, just ganging up against Thanos as like 99 people.
Or even getting to be Thanos again.
Or even getting to be Thanos would be
if they
awesome.
balanced it such that it is sort of an even chance, provided that the 99 are working together reasonably.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, we've managed to start talking about Fortnite. We shouldn't give them more publicity.
But yeah, I mean, the Black Ops Battle Royale, aka Blackout, is what they've called it. They were saying that. So I got a bit confused, and I thought that they were saying that they had 10 years of content planned for it. What they actually came out and said is that they've got 10 years worth of stuff that they're going to be able to put in this game, because they've been developing and working on Call of Duty games for about 9-10 years now. Which
is cool. It sounds like it's going to be the equivalent of Fortnite, but with Call of Duty assets.
Yeah, I mean, so they were saying that they're going to be introducing all of the characters from the Black Ops series that have been involved, not just in the campaign, but in the multiplayer and in the zombies as well. All of those characters are going to be featured somewhat in that game. They're going to be taking some of the best parts of the maps and putting them, like, sort of creating an amalgamation of all of the best parts of the map in one bigger map. They said it's going to be like 50,000 times bigger than the Nuketown map. I don't quite know how that's going to scale up.
That's just really big.
Yeah,
it's tiny.
like,
What
again,
do you mean you don't know how it's going to scale up? They told you exactly how it's going to
well,
scale
you know,
up.
I'm like,
It's 15,000 times bigger than the Nuketown map.
I don't know, like, how well that will play, because the thing with, I know that there are like open maps on Call of Duty, in that, you know, that there are maps that are built for sniping and there are maps that are very much close combat shooting maps. But I feel like having Call of Duty as like just a large map in Call of Duty, I think it'll be bizarre, because I'm so used to being in that gunfight, being in that like clutch situation where I'm going up against two guys and I'm having to try and fight for my lives in like such a tight space. So I feel like Call of Duty out in open areas could be, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to think of it.
There's a few experiences of that, right? I mean, back before I think Black Ops changed a lot of it, you did have... Sorry, I moved quite far away from the mic then. You did have certain maps in, like, especially Call of Duty 4, I think.
Yeah.
There was that big one that was just a bunch of tunnels in the middle and then a big field outside.
Yeah, and it was just snipers camping everywhere.
Yeah, and they can be kind of fun. I'm excited to see how it works. But I agree with you. It is a sort of shift from what you expect, right? But they've made good big maps before. Nuketown was always quite a small map, right? So
it feels from the trailer certainly that it looks like Battlefield. There's vehicles and a huge map, and it's very weird. And then they have some Rainbow Six elements with the breaking down doors and stuff in the trailer, at least. I don't know if you caught that. That was also very strange to see, I think. I feel like Call of Duty is just copying all the other elements that's making everything really successful right now.
There's lots of salt on it at the moment. There's because, like you say, with the Rainbow Six stuff, but also they've introduced the Pulse Blade from Titanfall. They've introduced the grappling hook from Titanfall.
Grappling hook.
There's another thing that I can't remember, but there is a few things that people were... And I mean, I think they've done it differently enough, so like the grappling hook doesn't... It just pulls you towards something.
Yeah,
really.
I think that's what I understood of it. Yeah, I mean, for me, it just strikes typical David Von der Hart and Treyarch that they would come out and do something like that.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense though. I mean, people are going to play this game, and being inspired by other games isn't bad. They're not outright copying them, I don't think. They're taking elements, but they're still making a different game, right? Or they're taking elements from lots of different things to make a new different thing.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad, but it is a bit... Some of it is a bit like, well, come on.
Yeah,
it's not as bad as they had with Advanced Warfare, in that was just Titanfall, you know?
Yeah, well, this is it again. Like, so they mentioned... They kept going on about it when they revealed World War II, and they kept saying boots on the ground, boots on the ground. And from what I understand, is that this is very much going to be a boots on the ground game. They're not going to be including the wall running or double jumping or any kind of like jetpack boosting in this game, which I think is
that's
cool.
Just because people got annoyed by that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like they've learned their lesson by now. They had it in so many different iterations of the game, and then people were still just like, "Come on, man! Just like, what is going on with this? This is so bizarre." And I don't know.
Well, people are not ready for verticality in Call of Duty.
Apparently, the Call of Duty is not ready for that. No.
Kids can't deal with 3D movement. 2D exclusively. Right, we've been talking about Black Ops for a while now.
My bad,
There's
guys.
one other big... No, we were all talking about it. One other big sort of announcement that, again, we spoke about. Fucking leaks everywhere, goddamn.
E3 lead up, man.
Raid 2 has been officially announced, I guess, now. It was basically announced before, right? But,
yeah.
So that weird teaser trailer came out that we had mixed opinions on, I think. Some of us thought it was... I think Mark really liked it. I thought it was a bit weird. But I think it did tell you a lot about the game, right? It told you that it was going to be just sort of completely fucking insane.
It's just bonkers.
Yeah, right. It felt a little bit too edgy bonkers for me. That's why I didn't like it. It was a bit like, look how crazy we are, guys.
Yeah, definitely. I felt the same way as well. I mean, it was not negative, but it was just, yeah, all right, that's Rage. Yep. And yeah.
But I mean, from the gameplay trailer, I don't know if there's much to say, but it looks like they've mixed Doom with a kid's imagination.
I was gonna say Borderlands and Mad Max. Had like a weird baby with Doom.
Well, I think that's a pretty apt description. That fits really well.
Yeah. I can buy that.
It's made by the same guys who made the Mad Max games, right? The recent Mad Max game. Avalanche Studios.
I don't know.
So yeah. So they have some experience with that barren desert look, probably.
Yeah.
And they're being helped.
They know how to make something look barren.
No, but the trailer itself didn't really look barren at all. It was just really
it looked exciting,
and nice, and there was some forests as well. So it's like a really nice, varied world. It seems interesting.
Man,
I'm quite
forests, crazy.
Like we haven't got a release date for it yet, do we?
I don't think so.
And probably will
not
at
that I remember.
E3.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that's probably where they'll give us maybe a bit more of an insight into how the game plays. I'm assuming it will probably be like that sort of game that they released just before the end of the fiscal year in 2019, so around like March time.
Maybe March seems. It seems like it doesn't seem like the kind of game they'll give too much of a lead up to, because it's not like it's not got much hype around it. Rage, I don't think so.
No, definitely
it seems odd that they'd announce it more than a year in advance. So yeah, I think maybe end of the fiscal year seems reasonable, if not before. I mean, like, who knows? But I think definitely within a year, because otherwise it seems far too early to be releasing something like that.
Yeah,
that's all I've got to say about Rage.
It's making me want to play the first one though. It's got very mixed opinions, I think, but seems interesting enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd never actually played the first Rage, so I don't really know what to expect from it. But certainly what I've seen from the gameplay trailer, I mean, it's very little at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you when you say, it's certainly something that I feel like I would be able to relate to. I'm a massive Borderlands fan, and it does look like it is going to be something along those lines. What I also think is interesting is Bethesda have come out and said that Rage 2 will not include loot boxes, which I think that's actually a really great thing. They have said that it won't include loot boxes, but it will contain post-launch, content. It will be trying to give the community what it wants, and trying to keep it active and have an active player base for as long as possible by giving us. I don't know if it's going to be free content. I imagine probably not.
Which is mad, I think, because I don't necessarily know what Rage is going to be like, because if it's a exclusively single player kind of thing, this wouldn't work. But it seems like the perfect opportunity to just sell cosmetics, right? Because it's a game all about looking completely mad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we've seen from other games that selling cosmetics works wonders. Like Halo managed to do it pretty well. Titanfall nailed it.
Dota.
Yeah.
Fucking hats.
That's the obvious one, isn't it? Dota and Counter-Strike are doing that.
It's extremely good.
So it seems like, why would you ignore? But I don't know. We'll see how. We don't know enough, I guess. Yeah.
Because
if it's just exclusively a single player thing, which I doubt it will, because everything's got multiplayer nowadays. Right?
But I would love a co-op mode though. It would be so cool. Just like Borderlands, really. I just want to be playing with other people.
It looks like the kind of game that would be fun to play with as well.
Yeah.
Right. What else do we have? We've got a few more little.
Yeah, talking of playing with other people. No Man's Sky multiplayer.
Fucking nailed it, Sean. Nice.
2 in a row. Let's go.
Yeah. So, what you wanna tell us? There's not much to say, right?
No,
But
I mean,
you wanna
they
go
have
for
a
this?
big multiplayer update coming in July. That's it.
That's basically it.
That's all we got.
There's been this big news story. Not big, I guess, because nobody cares about No Man's Sky anymore. But there's finally a date for multiplayer, which seems absurd given the fact that it was announced to have, like, when it was released, they said it had multiplayer. Like, it was already out, and they were like, "Yeah, it's got multiplayer. Don't worry, guys. You just won't find people because it's such a big universe."
And then they had those
Like, oh,
two
no,
people.
you're lying.
They had those 2 people who were like both on the same planet, and they were like, "Yeah, I can't see you, mate."
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good that it's getting it now, I guess. We talk about this a lot, and that maybe No Man's Sky will eventually be quite good. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's better late than never. I guess.
yeah, but does anybody actually care about it anymore?
No.
Is anybody going to try and play it? Well, because didn't it come out for Xbox One finally recently, or is it coming out with the multiplayer update?
It's coming up with the multiplayer update. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, maybe some people will get it for Xbox, but as we know, nobody has an Xbox either, so
Yep.
it's not going to be that great for them. But speaking of Xboxes, this one's a bit of a stretch. Halo have announced their new thing. Not a huge thing, but it's finally something from them. We're getting the Halo arcade machine, Halo Fireteam Raven, which is you play as an ODST, you and 3 of your friends, and it's just an on-the-rails arcade shooter. Looks like a shit arcade shooter. But, if you like arcade shooters, it looks like one of those, and it's Halo themed, so that's fun. You can shoot some Sangheili with your... You're sat in like a cannon, in like a helicopter gunner seat, but it switches between weapons, so you're using a fucking machine gun shaped gun to shoot your pistol, which is gonna feel a bit strange.
Wow, okay.
Brilliant.
But whatever.
We'll have a 130-inch 4K screen.
What is this? The arcade machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
It'll look cool at least. The video actually makes it look really shit. Like it makes the graphics look quite bad. And then it's got like a voiceover. You're talking to some AI. You're talking to the AI. I think of Pillar of Autumn is the idea, which is weird because isn't Cortana the AI of Pillar of Autumn? But whatever. You're talking to some AI and he tells you to protect the Pillar of Autumn, and it's the worst voice. And I mean, like, they probably asked for this, so I don't blame the voice actor. He probably did what he asked for, but I think they've missed the point, And it sounds really like a weird hoity-toity British kind of just fuck off accent. But
when is it coming to a arcade near us?
Coming to a Dave and Buster's near you this summer or something like that.
What is that? What even is that? Is
Dave
that
and
American?
Buster's is an American thing, yeah. So
Okay.
maybe you'll see it. I don't know. Oh well. Is there anything you care about saying about a Halo arcade machine? I feel like we should move on from that.
Oh.
The last thing we've got written down, which I think is actually quite interesting. We spoke about this over the week quite a bit, and a lot of the rumors coming out about this are quite, I don't know, strange. But there's been a fair amount of Pokemon Switch rumors.
Yes.
So the game they're releasing, the next Pokemon RPG, coming out on the Switch, potentially. And what was it that we saw? It was some game art came out, right? It was.
Yeah.
It was the like sort of logo.
It was some Japanese, some like Japanese art of what the game will be called, and some obviously people who have looked at it and translated it have seen that it's going to be called something along the lines of Pokemon Let's Go, taking inspiration from the ever successful mobile Pokemon Go app. Yeah. And they're going to be calling it Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, which then again goes on to suggest that it's going to be set in the Kanto region.
Yeah, which is quite cool, to be fair. I think going back to those sort of routes for your first Switch game, I think will be fun because it's your first move to sort of a big console. You know, I know there's been previous Pokemon games, but they're not. This feels like a more main game. Not necessarily. Maybe it's not the next step in the main series, but from the looks of, there's been a few screenshot leaks, right, or photos of a screen. But from what I've seen, it's basically. Their intention is a Pokemon Yellow remake. So you've got a Pokemon following you. And this is where the reason this came about is because there was a screenshot of a character riding a Lapras.
Yeah.
In what looked like, I think it was Route 22 or whatever. Some ocean route in Kanto. And the player had an Eevee on their shoulder. So this is why people all think it's going to be going back to Kanto and being a Yellow remake. But also, I mean, that... If it's a Yellow remake and in the image they've got an Eevee on their shoulder, Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu kind of makes sense, right?
For sure. I mean,
as shit of a name as it is.
Yeah, I mean, like certainly they haven't really been as creative as I would have liked them to be with the name. But then again, I guess they're running out of stuff to call them. I mean,
well,
I know
last
that there's
one
like
was X and Y, right?
Yeah.
Well, was that even the last one? Sun and Moon was
Sun
the
and
last
Moon.
one, but
I
X and Y is pretty unimaginative.
I mean,
so.
I heard rumors that they were going to be calling it Pokemon Stars, just to follow on with what Sun and Moon are doing. But
true. Did they ever make a? Because so that's what Yellow is. It's the sort of sum up of red and blue, or red and green, depending on where you are. And then what you've got, Crystal is
a gold
the gold and silver one. What you had, Emerald is Ruby and Sapphire. Yeah. So what? That's the theme. You get that, right?
Yeah.
Did they do one for Sun and Moon? Have they stopped doing those?
So they've made that the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, haven't they? They haven't done.
Oh, so is that the equivalent? Isn't that? I thought that was just a new game.
Yeah, no, that's just a new game with like all of the Mega Stone updates and all of that sort of stuff. They haven't really done that recently with the last couple of iterations of the games.
So I guess Stars maybe would have made sense, but
yeah. I mean, maybe that might be something that they're working on simultaneously to be released on the DS. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be essentially what you said. It's going to be a remake of those original games, but using the graphic style that they've been implementing in more recent ones. And I think it's also, whilst it may not be, an actual I wouldn't say like an actual part of the series, but in terms of like Pokemon going forward, whilst it may not be like a completely new game, it's certainly going to be their sort of, I guess, testing of how Pokemon plays on the Switch and how it scales up and that sort of stuff. Because like you say, they've done it before on the game, on some of the old GameCube ones. But yeah, it's going to be, I guess, like the tester game to see how well it's received. I imagine it will be received incredibly well because there are still millions and millions of Pokemon fans worldwide who still play Pokemon Go for some reason. I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like
quite fun.
I mean, it was a
as
huge...
in like to keep playing. It is actually quite. I did it up until my phone ran out of space.
I mean,
I was actually playing it quite a bit, and it's nice to just have on a walk. There's more in it now as well. I can understand why people play it.
I imagine going back to it now and you'd be like, what is this? But like for me,
no, I mean it's the same. They've just added a few things. Yeah. It's not not like they've.
But I mean, it's like for me, it was very much one of those things that, like, it was just like in that summer that it came out. It was me being like, oh my god, Pokemon, let's go, and just like, going out all the time, going to like random parks and catching so many Pokemon, and then after a while I was just like, what am I doing?
It was a real flash in the pan kind of thing, But I mean, it's sad because the world was so much happier when Pokemon Go came out.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I think it should be good, and I honestly cannot wait to see what it's like. I'm a massive Pokemon fan, as you all know, and I imagine we'll see something at E3. We've got to now. Surely we have to see something there, or at least we need
with
to get
a leak like this, you'd expect, right?
Oh, maybe even not at E3. Maybe if they just before E3, they're like, here's the gameplay trailer. Here's a release date. It's coming later on in 2018. Go.
To be fair, this leak hasn't been confirmed in any way, though, has it?
No.
So
it's just been...
I mean, it could all just be bullshit.
Yeah, that is also very true.
I'd be surprised though. I mean, they've. It's been a while since the last Pokemon game. There's got to have something out, and it would make sense to release it on the Switch.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if it is actually.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think the weirdest thing for me about this is that they're in the whole inspiration taken from Go thing, in that the Pokemon are live on the map, is just that's one of these big rumors around it at the moment, and I can't fathom that for a Pokemon game. That seems weird.
Yeah, of course it does. I don't know what to make of it. I mean,
we'll see how it works.
They have said that it is going to be in some way, or what the rumors are saying is that it is going to be in some way connected to Pokemon Go itself.
Oh, really?
Because I think that there were
so not just inspired by, but actually sort of related to.
So I think Pokemon Go, a while back, people managed to get access to some unused Pokemon Go code, and there was code for the Pokemon Bank. So in terms of like that is like a system where you can store your Pokemon in the cloud essentially, and then you can transfer them in between your different games.
Oh, weird.
So certainly
catch Pokemon in the real world and then put them in your game.
Yeah, I guess which I guess again that sounds kind of cool.
It sounds really
cool. But again,
bit.
it's very much rumors at the moment, and I'm not really sure what to expect. But I am hyped as hell.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Does the Switch have a GPS on it or any kind of positioning sensor?
I don't think so. But you do have the Nintendo, like the Nintendo Switch's online chat system is through your phone, right?
Yeah.
So must be a way of connecting them in some way.
Yeah, I mean, if you are gonna integrate Pokemon Go into this Switch game, then you are gonna be using your phone for positional data, right? So that'd be a cool integration, I think. It'd be we'll see, but it sounds really cool.
We'll see what happens. Could be cool. I mean, they've not really fucked anything up so far. Pokemon's good, so. We'll see what happens. Did you have a few more news stories, Trot, or shall we? We've got a good solid 45 minutes there.
I've got like a couple more, but I can just quickly list them. They're we don't really need to discuss them much, really. They're just
go for it.
Yeah,
shoot them off quick fire.
So Trevor Noah is going to unveil the next Battlefield on the 23rd of May.
Oh,
cool.
Okay, yeah. I don't know who Trevor Noah is. He seems pretty big.
He's the new Daily Show presenter.
Yeah, South African comedian.
Right. Okay. So that'll be fun to see. I think next week, and then Stalker 2 is announced, coming in 2021. I don't know if you guys have any experience with Stalker.
Stalker 1? Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
It's like a nuclear winter shooter game it's like Metro but open world.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's got horror elements in it. There's going to be a Zone of Enders remake. There's a release date for September. Anyone for Zone of Enders?
No idea what you're talking about.
Damn. All right. I think Mark would know this.
Yeah, but Mark knows everything, so that's an unfair comparison to make.
I don't really know much about it either, but you control mechs and you shoot people.
Mark will definitely know about it. I just googled it. This is cool. Some fucking robot shit that he'd be well into.
Yeah. I think it's made by Kojima, but I mean that's a long time ago.
Yeah, it is Hideo Kojima's cult mech combat game.
Yeah.
Zone of the Enders 2 remade in 4K and VR.
Yeah.
And VR, fuck. It's a VR mech game.
Right. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's all I got at the moment. Anything else?
Cool. Some nice obscure game references there.
Battlefield's not obscure.
Shit, fuck off. The other two are. But yeah, no, so there was quite a bit to talk about there. We've had a good chat this week, I think. I think Mark's going to be back next week, hopefully. But one thing we were talking about this week that we won't talk about ourselves now, but maybe leave for our viewers to think about. Because I think maybe it would be nice, even if we don't talk about it, we won't talk about it next week, I guess, because that's our game show, but maybe the week after. Mark brought this up, and I think it was from a different podcast potentially. What are your sort of top 10 greatest of all time games? And I think we've all been thinking about that this week because of that. And sort of think of, do you have any standout ones, that sort of thing? Even if we don't end up talking about it, and I mean, you might not necessarily talk about it with anybody else, but I've found it quite a fun thing to think about. It reminds you of these games that you've not necessarily had a lot of reason to think about, but actually, I don't know, inspired your gaming history quite a bit, you know? So
yeah. It's been
have
difficult.
a think about that.
It's been difficult, but yeah.
It's a hard time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, how do we usually finish this? You can find us on is it SoundCloud and iTunes at Shouting Over Static, and on YouTube as Low Expectations Media. On YouTube, they're all released a week later. So if you're missing out, if you're behind, don't worry. You can catch up. Well, you can catch up anywhere. It's the internet. Everything's saved. What our chore's been set on this task as well. Hopefully, we should have a Facebook.
Right after this.
I don't know. Right after this.
Yeah.
Was it going to be called Shouting Over Static?
Yeah,
hopefully, right?
Just Shouting Over Static. Yeah.
Okay, so we should have a Shouting Over Static Facebook page up as you are listening to this. So head over there, give us a like. Maybe we'll expand. Maybe there'll be a Twitter.
There will
Who
be
knows?
a Twitter.
Oh man, what?
There will be a Twitter. Words from our publicity man.
Oh no. What have I done?
Confirmed. An Instagram that just posts ridiculous photos of butts. Not that.
No, not that.
I won't give Chor that task.
It'll be for yourself.
I've had too much power with Mark gone, and you can make everything Chor. But yeah, so go check out our Facebook and Twitter. We need the support because, you know, our last few podcasts had 3 listens. So who am I actually talking to? But, you know, if you do listen to this, go and like our Facebook page. And yeah, see you next week, I guess. That's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Nice. Bye.